Our dear beloved Indonesia, it's time to stop and take a break, to distance ourselves for a while and hope for a better future. We are longing to hear the sounds of the waves and to see the beauty that awaits around every corner of this land. Our beautiful motherland, the time will come when the sky will again shine bright and we'll come back stronger.
In life, there are moments where we feel stuck and have no idea what to do next. Don't be scared. That's normal. All we have to do is search. Sometimes, inspiration comes unexpectedly. Even from special places.
Alright, everyone stand by.
Don't just enjoy the inspiration. Live it. When inspiration comes, don't hold it back. Let it flow. But don't forget to take notes so it doesn't slip by. Enjoy it for a while.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of the Republic of Indonesia. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome one and all to the Geotourism Festival 2020. And we are super happy and delighted to welcome all participants from the four corners of the globe to the Geotourism Festival 2020. And this virtual event, ladies and gentlemen, is inspired to be a platform where people in the geotourism industry could obtain adequate information about geotourism in Indonesia. And it is absolutely a pleasure for me and also an honor for me to join everyone from the four corners of the globe and also our very important people here who are also joining us. And this event is one of the adaptations we made during this challenging time. As we all know, amid this pandemic, we have to go on with lots of innovation. And this is one of the things that we do to create a better future for the geotourism in Indonesia, specifically in Lombok, West Nusa Tenggara. So, ladies and gentlemen, joining us here today, a very, very beautiful lady coming from Jakarta. Welcome to Mrs. Rizky Handayani Mustafa. Thank you very much for being here with us today. And also
Morning,
joining us, good morning. And also joining us today, the Deputy of Tourism Coordinations and Creative Economy, Maritime Ministry and Investment, Mr. Odo R.M. Manuhutu. Good morning, Mr. Odo.
Selamat pagi.
All right. And also here with us today, the Director of UNESCO Jakarta Office, Professor Shabasan.
Good morning to everybody.
Good morning. Good morning to everybody. And also, not just the four of you is joining us here in this platform, but also there are so many people from the four corners of the globe joining the Geotourism Festival, this virtual event, definitely. Good morning to Professor Jin Xiaoqi, Mr. Sukmandaru Prihatmoko, Guy Martini, the Professor Mega Fatima Rosana, Insinyur Hanang Samudra, Hans Decker Thalstrup, and also Dr. Enas Ahmed, and all of our wonderful participants. Not to forget to mention, Professor Noel Scott from Australia is also joining us here from the platform. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we start all of our opening ceremony, as we all heard before, the national anthem of the Republic of Indonesia has been sung. So we would like to welcome for the speech given by the Deputy of Tourism Product and Events, Mrs. Insinyur Rizky Handayani Mustafa. The time is yours.
Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera buat kita semua. Selamat pagi, good morning, everyone. Ibu Wakil Gubernur, saya senang sekali bisa bertemu lagi dengan Ibu. Saat ini masih virtual ya Bu, sebentar lagi kita bisa bertemu bersama-sama. And Professor Shahnaz Khan from UNESCO in Jakarta. Pak Odo, selamat pagi Pak Odo. And Professor Guy Martini from UNESCO Global Geopark Council, Professor Jin Xiaoqi, Koordinator Asia Pacific Geopark Network, Bapak Ibu sekalian semua, izinkan saya memberikan sambutan dalam bahasa Indonesia. I think because most of the allow me to give the speech in bahasa Indonesia, Professor Khan, because most of the participants is Indonesian. Pertama-tama marilah kita panjatkan puji dan syukur kehadirat Allah SWT karena berkat rahmatnya lah kita masih bisa bertemu dalam keadaan sehat pagi ini. Kita masih bisa melihat warna, kita bisa mendengar suara. Ini suatu anugerah yang luar biasa di tengah pandemi yang sudah 4 bulan kita alami. Tapi insya Allah dengan izin Tuhan insya Allah akan segera berlalu. Pertama-tama juga kemudian saya mengucapkan selamat kepada acara ini ya, kepada penyelenggara acara yang sebelumnya mungkin kami jelaskan bahwa memenangkan salah satu pemenang dari program kita kerjasama dengan Australian Marketing Institute. Jadi kami punya program kerjasama dengan Australian Marketing Institute dan kegiatan ini Geopark Festival merupakan salah satu pemenang dari 6 pemenang yang kita pilih waktu itu. Selamat sekali lagi kepada teman-teman sekalian. Bapak Ibu sekalian, seperti yang kita ketahui bahwa tepat 1 minggu lalu Geopark Caldera Toba masuk dalam UNESCO Global Geopark atau UGG. Penetapan ini memberikan kesempatan dan tanggung jawab bagi Indonesia untuk mendorong pengembangan dari geopark ini untuk memberikan sumbangsih kepada tidak hanya pariwisata dan ekonomi kreatif, tapi juga di pembangunan wilayah dan pembangunan masyarakat di mana geopark tersebut ditetapkan. Kita tahu bahwa sebagaimana juga World Heritage yang dikeluarkan oleh UNESCO, maka geopark ini akan menjadi satu branding, not only branding, tapi juga satu destinasi yang akan sangat diminati di era adaptasi kebiasaan baru. Seperti kita tahu bahwa kegiatan-kegiatan outdoor nanti, kegiatan wisata yang mengedepankan wisata alam atau di luar akan menjadi yang akan dipilih oleh calon-calon wisatawan yang setelah masa pandemi ini berlalu. Dan kita beruntung kita sudah mempunyai secara nasional 16 geopark yang sangat menawan, yang mempunyai ciri khas tersendiri ya, dan satu di antaranya sudah ditetapkan sebagai UGG atau UNESCO Geopark Global Geopark. Dan Rinjani merupakan salah satu yang sudah mendapatkan, dan saya tahu Rinjani ini berdasarkan dari yang saya dengar dari mereka para pendaki gunung, merupakan salah satu puncak gunung yang terindah. Jadi efek surprising when you reach the top of the mountain gitu, bahwa you saw the lake, the top of the mountain is very beautiful. Nah ini merupakan satu aset bagi Nusa Tenggara Barat untuk tetap kita lestarikan. Dan yang paling penting adalah ke depan ketika kemudian kita terus kembangkan Rinjani ini untuk menjadi destinasi pariwisata, kita jangan lupakan masalah-masalah pelestarian lingkungan, karena juga kita ketahui penilaian dari UGG ini dari UNESCO bahwa masalah-masalah kelestarian lingkungan, community participations, serta masalah terawatnya wilayah itu merupakan salah satu penilaian, karena tentunya UGG ini akan selalu dinilai. Penyelenggaraan virtual event Geotourism Festival ini menjadikan salah satu untuk menjadi, dan salut sekali kami dari offline sebelumnya kemudian menjadi online saat ini. Ini merupakan satu inovasi di mana teman-teman ternyata tidak berhenti. Ada pandemi tidak menjadikan mereka stop. Ada pandemi terus membuat mereka berinovasi sehingga festival tetap dijalankan. Dan sangat berapresiasi penyelenggaraan virtual event ini karena sangat adaptif dengan kondisi sekarang. Dan ini bagian dari tentunya komunikasi kepada market. Jadi jangan kita diam, walaupun sekarang pariwisata mungkin terhenti, wisatawan belum ada, tapi komunikasi bahwa kita punya aset ini harus terus kita gaungkan. Sekali lagi kami mengapresiasi komunitas Geopark Rinjani atas semangat dan kreativitasnya dalam meningkatkan dan mengenalkan value dari Geopark melalui sektor pariwisata dan ekonomi kreatif kepada masyarakat global. Ucapan terima kasih juga kami sampaikan kepada Gubernur Nusa Tenggara Barat yang saat ini diwakili oleh Ibu Wakil Gubernur dan jaringan UNESCO karena telah memberikan support secara maksimal pada acara ini. Harapan saya acara ini bisa terlaksana dengan sukses selama 2 hari kalau nggak salah ya, dengan berbagai event-event yang ada, dan tentunya mudah-mudahan para milenial muda khususnya di NTB dapat ikut serta di dalam acara ini untuk dapat merasa bangga memiliki Rinjani dan ikut kemudian melestarikan apa yang ada. Terima kasih sekali kepada semua teman-teman yang sudah menjalankan acara ini, karena ini adalah konten pariwisata kita ke depan. Terima kasih. Wabillahi taufik walhidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mrs. Rizky Handayani Mustafa, for the wonderful speech. Definitely is going to inspire us all. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move on to our next speech that will be delivered by the Deputy of Tourism Coordinations and Creative Economy, the Maritime Ministry and Investment. Please welcome Mr. Odo R.M. Manuhutu. The time is yours.
Selamat pagi, Ibu dan Bapak. Pak Rizky, karena bahasa Inggrisnya bagus, nanti Pak Rizky jadi penerjemahannya aja ya. Boleh ya Pak Rizky ya?
Iya, iya,
Soundnya
iya,
kedengaran?
kita akan ada
Ya, boleh.
kita akan ada interpreter, Bapak. Iya, terima kasih. Silakan.
Oke, selamat pagi Ibu Wakil Gubernur, Ibu Deputi Bidang Produk Wisata dan Penyelenggara Kegiatan Kemenparekraf, Ibu Kiki, Kutus Ibu, Direktur dari UNESCO Jakarta Office, kemudian yang terhormat Kepala Badan Pengelola UNESCO Global Geopark Rinjani dan para pegiat Geopark Indonesia. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Puji syukur senantiasa kita panjatkan kepada Tuhan Yang Maha Esa atas rahmat ya dan karunia-Nya yang kita dapat hadir baik secara langsung maupun virtual untuk bersama mengikuti kegiatan Geotourism Festival 2020. Saya kira ini Zoom, the power of Zoom, kita bisa melakukan berbagai pertemuan, tidak terbatas pada tempat dan waktu, bisa kapan saja, dan seperti Ibu Kiki sampaikan, ini bagian dari inovasi yang telah dilakukan oleh teman-teman penggiat geopark. Selamat sekali lagi. Nah, dalam hal ini kami menjambut baik dan mengapresiasi event virtual Geotourism Festival ini sebagai upaya recovery sektor pariwisata selama masa pandemi, khususnya di Provinsi NTB sebagai salah satu wilayah DPSP. Hal ini menjadi bukti bahwa pandemi COVID-19 bukanlah suatu halangan untuk kita terus bekerja sama dalam membangun negeri, terutama dalam kaitannya dengan pengembangan geowisata dan geopark di Indonesia. Dan geopark di Rinjani ini, seperti tadi disampaikan Bu Kiki, adalah aset yang perlu dijaga dengan baik oleh teman-teman di NTB, apakah dari segi lingkungannya, apakah bagaimana mengengage masyarakat setempat untuk mengelola kawasan tersebut. Karena kekuatan dari Indonesia pada masa pandemi ini kita lihat bahwa alam yang indah ini menjadi daya tarik yang sebelumnya adalah orang ingin pergi ke tempat-tempat keramaian, sekarang ingin tempat-tempat yang bukan yang less crowded. Lanjut mungkin adalah Bapak dan Ibu hadirin yang saya hormati, sebagian kita ketahui bersama bahwa kaldera Toba telah resmi dinobatkan sebagai UGGP pada sidang ke-209 Dewan Eksekutif UNESCO di Prancis pada 7 Juli lalu. Sehingga saat ini Indonesia memiliki 5 UGGP, 14 geopark nasional, dan 110 potensi geopark. Sejalan dengan RPJM 2020-2024 yang telah menargetkan terbentuknya 12 UGP hingga 2024, kita optimis dengan kesiapan dan sinergi dari Kemenparekraf, pemerintah daerah, Kementerian SDM, pemerintah pusat, serta berbagai pihak. Target tersebut dapat kita wujudkan bersama. Pak Rizky bisa ini mencatat, menerjemahkan nantinya?
Sudah Pak,
Aman
kami
ya,
sudah
Pak?
terjemahkan
Aman.
langsung.
Baik. Selain itu, kita juga terus berupaya untuk menjaga konsumsi domestik yang menjadi pilar utama dalam pertumbuhan ekonomi Indonesia. Melalui gerakan Bangga Buat Indonesia, pemerintah ingin mendorong peningkatan demand produk lokal serta pertumbuhan UMKM khususnya di masa pandemi ini. Dengan demikian, kegiatan Geotourism Festival ini diharapkan juga dapat berkontribusi dalam memberikan ruang dan peluang bagi para pelaku UMKM sektor pariwisata untuk dapat mempromosikan produk-produknya. Bapak, Ibu, hadirin saya hormati, mari kita jaga dan terus kembangkan semangat kebangsaan dengan bangga dan beli produk-produk buatan UMKM, serta kita sukseskan ide kreatif dan inovatif untuk mengembangkan geowisata Indonesia melalui event virtual Geotourism Festival 2020. Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Odo R. Emanuhutu, the Deputy of Tourism Coordinations and Creative Economy, Maritime Ministry and Investment. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to the speech of the Director of UNESCO Jakarta Office. Please welcome Professor Shahbaz Khan. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Selamat pagi. It's a wonderful day. We are together, and we just heard two very interesting speeches from Her Excellency Mrs. Riziki Handiani Mustafa, the Deputy for Tourism Products and Tourism-related Activities for the Ministry of Tourism, and the Deputy for the Coordinating Minister for Tourism and Creative Economy, Coordinating Ministry for Maritime and Investment Affairs, Mr. Odo Manahuto. So I can understand Bahasa Indonesia sedikit-sedikit, so wonderful references to UNESCO and the labeling, and I will be referring to that. Also, it's our honor that we have Her Excellency, the Vice Governor of West Nusa Tenggara, Dr. Siti Romi Jalila, and your leadership in this event in geotourism is very important. And we have some very important speakers, the what we call within UNESCO, the people who are driving these important initiatives like the Global Geopark, Professor Jia Xiaoqi, the coordinator of the Asia Pacific Geoparks. And I'm also very pleased to know Professor Noel Scott is also here and he will be speaking. So with all these excellent contributions and the speakers, but I'm sure the guests, the people from Indonesia and from around the world who are part of our this very innovative virtual geotourism festival. This is one of its only kind to my knowledge, and we have highlighted to member states of UNESCO. We just met at the executive board of UNESCO. So this, of course, is the effort under the Renjani Lombok UNESCO Global Geopark community. To be a global geopark is not a trivial thing. As Mrs. Riziki has mentioned, this is not just a label, it's a long-term effort and long-term support of the government and the people and the innovation, and very importantly, the beautiful and iconic landscape like what we have in this particular Rinjani Lombok UNESCO Global Geopark. So the week will focus on geotourism, which is basically an extension of geoheritage. And Indonesia is very beautiful. Like in my background, you can see one of the other World Heritage sites, the Borobudur. We have one of the most beautiful World Heritage sites, one of the most beautiful global geoparks, and of course, Rinjani Lombok is one of them. And our biosphere reserves, by the way, Rinjani Lombok is also a UNESCO biosphere reserve as well. So it has two dual recognition. So this is very important. And why it is important? Because we have very interesting mountains. The Rinjani mountain arises from the sea all the way with very special weather conditions, with the special culture of the people, and also what actually makes this whole ecosystem with the special geology around it. So it's not only geology, it's also the special culture. And very importantly for me to mention today in this COVID crisis is the resilience of people. And especially when 2018, we had a very bad earthquake in Lombok, which was very widespread. It caused a lot of damage. And it has taken us a lot of time and effort, and the resilience of the people of Indonesia and the people and the government locally in Lombok and West Nusa Tenggara. People have performed very well with their hard work and innovation and adaptation. UNESCO has also been helping the local communities, especially in the areas with cultural tourism and local industries. So now, because of COVID, we cannot go to all these beautiful places, but we need to be ready as part of our socio-economic response. And also, we shouldn't forget we have to deliver on the sustainable development goals for which His Excellency, the President of Indonesia, and all the people in Indonesia are very serious about them. And geotourism can play a very big role in localizing SDGs, but also at the same time, the socio-economic response following this pandemic, which is what we are facing now. But inshallah, with the resilience of people, the excellent work of the scientists in Indonesia and from around the world, we will have a vaccine and we will be able to move forward with many things, what we mean here. So I welcome you to this virtual, very important geotourism, the webinars, the cultural performances, the virtual tour of the Mount Rinjani, Mount Tambora. They would be excellent showcasing for, of course, first of all, for this region, but very importantly for whole of Indonesia. This is what Indonesia is special for the whole of the world. And that's where we have the global geopark and the biosphere reserves and the World Heritage all over in Indonesia. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate all organizers but also the Asia Pacific Geoparks network, which will be represented here. And this family is making a great contribution to UNESCO's designated sites. It's also very important to note and congratulate the Indonesian geoparks community and the people and the government of North Sumatra as well, that last week there was approval of Lake Toba. The Toba caldera, Indonesia, is the fifth global geopark, along with the new UNESCO global geoparks in China, Republic of Korea, and Vietnam. So Toba caldera represents Asia and Pacific among the 15 new UNESCO global geoparks. So this festival is a testimony that there is a lot more we need to explore. We need to work together. We need to have engagement at the local government level and all the way to the national level. Also, I'm very pleased to note that there would be Southeast Asia Biosphere Reserves meeting, which will be happening in the same Rinjani Lombok in November. So we are getting ready with so many of these exciting events. That's what makes us so proud about Indonesia. And my office representing Asia Pacific for Science, Technology, and MAB and Geopark program, we are so excited that Rinjani Lombok is a leader in the world. And today we will be able to see, witness many of those standards which this particular global geopark is setting, and what makes Indonesia a place where, inshallah, with the normalization, everyone should come and visit and enjoy this excellent work and the innovation of the people. Very important ideas. And this is, to my knowledge, the first one, which is a virtual geotourism event. So Indonesians are so innovative. We are so proud to work with Indonesia and with the government of West Nusa Tenggara, Rinjani Lombok, for setting this new standard, a new way in this new normal we are. But as I said, the better times will also come. We are getting prepared as part of our work for the Sustainable Development Goals, leaving no one behind, as part of our work related to disaster management and what we have done since 2018 and in this present pandemic. So this week's groundbreaking event will take us many, many miles ahead in terms of what we mean as the innovation of people and what we mean as bringing peace and sustainable development through these excellent ideas. So let's have a very enjoyable, successful, inspiring virtual geotourism festival. And with that, I welcome you all and look forward to all this event and what it would be setting a new standard for everyone in Asia Pacific and in the world. We are already reporting this event to our governing bodies like our executive board. Our Assistant Director General Science has taken very big note of it through also our Director General. And I'm sure this will make its way into UNESCO's General Conference as one of the innovative ways for living in harmony with the nature and being resilient and being hopeful and being what Indonesia is. So terima kasih. Have a wonderful day. Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Professor Shahbaz Khan, the Director of UNESCO Jakarta Office. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to the speech that would be delivered by the Vice Governor of West Nusa Tenggara, who is also going to officially open the Geotourism Festival 2020 to the Honorable Dr. Siti Rohmi Jalilah. The time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. The Honorable, the Deputy of Tourism Production, Mrs. Rizky Handayani Mustafa, the Deputy of Tourism Coordination and Creative Economy, the Ministry of Maritime Coordinator and Investment, Mr. Odo R.M. Manuhutu, the Director of UNESCO Office in Jakarta, Mr. Professor Shahbaz Khan, Together with us also Mrs. Nindya M. Iqbal, the head of Bayangkari and team, representative of Asia Pacific Geopark Network, APGN, Indonesia's National Committee for UNESCO, Rinjani Lombok Geopark community, all the speakers, ladies and gentlemen. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin that we can meet online in the wonderful virtual event that is the Geotourism Festival 2020 in a safe and healthy condition. Our health is a priority in this pandemic situation. Mrs. Rizky, Mr. Odo, ladies and gentlemen, we know that COVID-19 pandemic has impacted our economy, especially in tourism sector. Ever since the outbreak happens all across the globe, as a result, the number of visitors to Indonesia, especially West Nusa Tenggara, has been extremely declining. Therefore, the government of West Nusa Tenggara is very hopeful that Geotourism Festival 2020 will be one of the many ways to promote our geotourism potentials. On behalf of the government of West Nusa Tenggara, we would like to thank the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy for their endless support in making us the next world-class tourism destination. It is an honor for our province to be a part of this wonderful festival, and we hope that through this event, we will also be able to promote our tourism potentials and the production of our local small business industry in the West Nusa Tenggara. I also would like to thank the Rinjani Lombok Geopark community for making this event possible. We hope that this event will be involving the Indonesia Geopark Network, Asia Pacific Geopark Network, and UNESCO Global Geopark Network all together. Moreover, this event also invites tourism communities, associations, academics, students, and other stakeholders. Last but not least, I would like to emphasize that tourism and nature preservation cannot be separated. Tourism must be with the nature preservation, not without. Thus, please build and develop our tourism by preserving and maintain the nature. Mrs. Rizky, Mr. Odo, Mr. Sabas, ladies and gentlemen, this is the best momentum for us to challenge the COVID-19 threats, become an opportunity to provide a clean health and safe tourism by concerning to the environment preservation. Finally, by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, with the name of God, the virtual event of the Geotourism Festival 2020 is officially started. I wish you all in a great and productive discussion and bring the impactful result for the tourism in West Nusa Tenggara in Indonesia. All the best and thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, the Vice Governor of West Nusa Tenggara. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone from the four corners of the globe, the Geotourism 2020 is officially opened by the Honorable Dr. Siti Rohmi Jalillah, the Vice Governor of West Nusa Tenggara. So, ladies and gentlemen, as the Vice Governor of West Nusa Tenggara, Mrs. Kiki as well, Mr. Odo, and also Professor Shabas Khan has already mentioned that in 2018, the earthquake has hit Lombok and it was causing lots of things, lots of damages as well. And then also COVID-19 comes and impacted many aspects, especially economically. And also the Vice Governor of West Nusa Tenggara already mentioned as well that tourism and nature preservation has to go hand in hand, which is absolutely a beautiful and wonderful point that we are going to mark out here. So before that, we are also going to show you and everyone that is joining us here in the Geotourism 2020 Festival into a geotour which is going to be in a package of culture performance. And we're going to talk about the Hikayat Suling Sasak, and also there'll be a jazz performance performing Earth Song from Michael Jackson, covered by local artists from Lombok. And definitely this one is going to be a wonderful one. So ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are joining us here on the platform in our website, enjoy the culture performance. And here it is, very special performance created only for you.
What about sunrise? What about rain? What about all the things that we said we were to gain? What about killing fields? Is there a time? What about all the things that we said were yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the blood we've shed before? Did you ever stop to notice the screaming heart, the sweeping shores? Stop to notice all the children dead from war? Did you ever stop to notice the crying of the sweeping shores?
right. Wow. What a fascinating performance created by our local artist. And also, it is going to be the end of our agenda in the opening ceremony of the Geotourism 2020. So, ladies and gentlemen, and also everyone, all the participants of the Geotourism Festival 2020 from the four corners of the globes, we'd also like to inform you that Indonesia is now ready to welcome the new normal by implementing the Clean, Healthy, and Safe Environment Program. And definitely, this is going to be a sign that everyone can also visit our lovely country. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this event is proudly brought to you by Rinjani Lombok, UNESCO Global Geopark Management Board, and also supported by the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy of the Republic of Indonesia and other organizer. Thank you very much to all of our sponsorship, and thank you very much to our distinguished guests. I would like to line out this one. Thank you very much, Mrs. Rizky Handayani Mustafa from the Deputy of Tourism Productions and Events. Thank you very much, Mr. Odo R.M. Manuhutu, the Deputy of Tourism Coordinations and Creative Economy, the Ministry of Maritime and Investment. Thank you very much, the Director of UNESCO Jakarta Office, Professor Shahbaz Khan, and also the one and only, the Honorable Vice Governor of Western Nusa Tenggara, Dr. Siti Rohmi Jalila. Thank you very much for joining us here virtually on the opening ceremony of the Geotourism Festival 2020. So, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot wait once again giving you an unforgettable experience by visiting our lovely country, specifically Lombok Island, Indonesia. We will see you all again soon in Indonesia and see you all in Lombok. I am Muji Idris signing off virtually on this opening ceremony of the Geotourism Festival 2020. And the next agenda that we're going to provide and show you in this lovely festival, there will be a webinar, and then also as I am signing off, so the screens will be taken over by our moderator. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Lalu Adi Gunawan, PhD. So thank you very much for joining us here on the opening ceremony. I'll see you next time, everybody, and have a great day. Thank you.
In life, there are moments where we feel stuck and have no idea what to do next. Don't be scared. That's normal. All we have to do is switch. Sometimes inspiration comes unexpectedly. Even from special places. Don't just enjoy the inspiration. Live it. When inspiration comes, don't hold it back. Let it flow. But don't forget to take notes so it doesn't slip by. Enjoy it for a while.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning, everyone. Welcome for the next agenda of this festival. We're going to have a webinar, and few speakers will give a talk and presentation about the first speaker today is talking about the geotourism development in Asia Pacific. As we know that geotourism is a new form of tourism based on the geological environment. The establishment of geopark sites are well developed in few decades ago across the globe. And this is the ultimate destination of this kind of tourism. It consists of geoheritage, geodiversity, geoconservation, and geotours. And this is relatively new. And actually, by definition, geotourism is defined as tourism is focused on areas of geology, landscape as the basis of fostering sustainable tourism development. So that's a very short explanation about the geotourism. We want to know how its trend of development, how its progress of development in terms of benefiting economy, environment, and socio-cultural. So today we have very appropriate speaker will in this session will discuss about the geotourism development in Asia Pacific with Professor Jin Xiao Se. Apologize for the pronunciation, Professor Jin. Professor Jin is a professor at Institute of Geology, Chinese Academy of Geological Sciences. He is the vice president of Global Geopark Network, and he is the PGN coordinator. Without any further ado, I would like to welcome Professor Jin. Time is yours, Professor.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Now, sorry, I need your granting to let me share my screen.
Okay, you can just share file.
Yes, because they ask the moderator forbidden to share.
Oh, the share presentation. We haven't seen the presentation yet.
I think you can click on the share screen, and probably there are some orders there.
Yeah, the committee is still prepared for the presentation.
Okay, now I can share my screen. This sorry for there's a small technical difficulties. So I show my. So my name is Xiaochi Jin, and from Chinese Academy of Geological Sciences. So today I'm going to talk about geotourism and East Pacific Geoparks Network, that is APGN. The title of my talk is a little bit different, but more or less the same as that shown in the brochures of this Geotourism Festival. So first of all, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation for Rinjani Lombok UNESCO Global Geoparks organization of this event in such a difficult time to show the resilience of a UGGP. Because we all know that since the beginning of this year, we experienced the COVID pandemic, which returned all our activities from mostly every geopark on the geoparks network. So in this such a special time, Rinjani Lombok UNESCO Global Geoparks start this event, Geotourism Festival 2020. I think it's a wonderful motion or wonderful event to show the resilience, to show how our people still can do a lot of things in such a difficult time. So for this, I move to the next slide, because the title of this festival is Geotourism Festival 2020. So firstly, I'd like to emphasize something related to geotourism. For me, probably personally, probably also somebody else also share the same opinion with me. So I think geotourism means or should be a sustainable tourism, which should benefit the local communities and the society, but without sacrificing the future of our next generations. So in such a geotourism, we should to profit. We should to take to purchase something for the local communities. The local communities can become a little bit richer, or they can live a better life through this geotourism. But we should at the same time not sacrifice our environment, resources, or future generations. So in this regard, we are obligated to prevent mass tourism. Mass tourism happened in many geoparks, which actually bring some money to geoparks, but at the same time, it makes great damage to the environment and to the geoheritages. And this also happened in many geoparks, and this is a bad example, a negative example. So we should prevent mass tourism. We should regulate that in a finer way, in a sustainable way. On the other hand, we should also prevent selling geological, biological, and non-renewable materials, because geotourism should be sustainable. If somebody is selling geological, biological, non-renewable materials within the territory in shops, this is against the belief of sustainable tourism. We have also found some bad examples in some areas. They selling the volcanic bombs, and also some tourists also collecting these geological materials during their tourism. This is should be forbidden, because we promote geotourism. For me also, geotourism should be responsible tourism. That means we need to minimize negative environment, social, and economic impacts, but increasing benefits to the local communities. When we're talking about responsible, that means both the geopark staff and the residents within the geopark on one side. On the other side, that's the tourists. Both sides should be responsible. They should be environmentally aware. Also, as the necessary measures, the geopark staff members or geopark guides should set good examples and let the tourists know what the best way is. That's should be what I think is, to me, responsible tourism. For me also, geotourism means or should be scientific tourism. Geotourism should empower tourists and local residents with scientific knowledge about their territory's geological history, knowledge about climate change, knowledge about geohazard mitigation. So geotourism is not a simple one. It should also be a scientific one. So many people probably are not quite aware of this aspect of geotourism, but that's why I emphasize here. In many geoparks, or in some, people, the guides, should also normally telling fairy tales or telling legends to the tourist. I think this is necessary because telling fable tales, legends, which are necessary for the tourism, because they are also a part of the local intangible cultural heritage. But just telling legends, tales, good stories is not enough for a UNESCO Global Geopark. Scientific knowledge should be an important content of geotourism. This is also for both sides, the local communities and tourists. So geotourism should be a scientific tourism. This is another aspect of geotourism. And this is also connected with the Sustainable Development Goals. So UNESCO Global Geoparks also contributing to the Sustainable Development Goals. This picture or this slide shows some mostly related Sustainable Development Goals to UNESCO Global Geoparks. The UNESCO Geoparks members, all the staff members, all the communities can do that to help to make the Sustainable Development Goals to be reached, to be realized. So another aspect of geotourism means, or should be, tourism promoting cultural heritage. Geotourism is not a simple one, just a tourism. It should also promote the local cultural heritage to promote and sustain tangible and intangible cultural heritage of that territory, of the areas where the geoparks is located. So in many geoparks, normally we show or we perform or we present or demonstrate territory's cultural heritage. We should do it in an original ways or in a proper way. We should to prevent to catering to those or to some people who just seek a stimulus and we overperformed or transformed the heritage. That's not good. We should perform and demonstrate the cultural heritage in its original way or a proper way. We should not to deform it or reform it or mispresent it just in order to catering to somebody who are curious about that. So another aspect is we should need to prevent to making quick money. By transforming cultural heritage presentations. So this is the fourth aspect I'm emphasizing here. So that is geotourism should be also tourism promoting cultural heritage. Now we turn to Asia Pacific and Geoparks Network and show and see how geotourism can be developed in this big network. These slides show the distribution of geoparks in Asia Pacific regions. You can see that from the southmost part in Indonesia to the northernmost part in Northeast China, from the eastmost part in Japan, and to the most part in Iran. So in such a wide region, we have a good geodiversity in the Asia Pacific region. We have geoparks for volcanic rocks. We have Mara Lake. We have geoparks for karst. We have geoparks with their geoheritage of sandstone landforms. We have granite landform geoheritage. We have fossil records, and so many others. They have special mineral deposits. We also here have an Asia Pacific Geoparks network, a desert geoparks that is in northwest part of China. We also find glacier, tundra, tectonic boundaries, etc. So geoparks in Asia Pacific region have a very great geodiversity. So this is one characteristic of the geoparks in Asia Pacific region. And at the same time, we enjoy a very great biodiversity in geoparks of Asian Pacific region. So because we have such a huge area, we change from tropical to subtropical to temperate, even to polar zones. That's geographically. We're from oceanic island to the continental coast, to the continental interior, and from green place to desert. So such great geodiversity climatical zones form a basis for biodiversity. So biodiversity, great biodiversity is another character of the geoparks in the Asia Pacific region. Another side we should not to neglect, that is the cultural diversity. In the Asia Pacific geoparks, we have numerous ethnic groups, different nationalities. We have a lot of languages, a varied history, tradition, habits, mentality, way of living, a variety of foods, costumes, buildings, etc., etc. That means also the cultural diversity is also a very significant character of geoparks in Asia Pacific region. So now we turn to sustainable development of in Asia Pacific region. So given the high geodiversity, biodiversity, cultural diversity amongst the APGN, so therefore there should not be a fixed model for all geoparks. So talking about tourism, we don't have one fixed model or for one fixed paradigm for every geopark. One size for everybody is very dangerous. So we should respect the diversity in geodiversity, biodiversity, cultural diversity. We should respect that and try to find out and or develop a way or a paradigm or pattern which best fit your own territory. Why not ignoring the good practices of other geoparks? So this sentence, they emphasize two sides. One is every geopark should try to find out or develop their own sustainable patterns or paradigms. They find the best way to fit their territory. And at the same time, we need to share good practice with other geoparks. As I emphasized many times, sharing good practices amongst member geoparks is the soul of Global Geoparks Network, but also for Asia Pacific Global Geoparks Network. So to be identical, to be singular, but at the same time we share, so we still keep the diversity. We also have diversity in paradigms, but we work for the same purpose, that is geotourism. So sharing good practice amongst member geoparks is the soul of GGN and APGN. You can also say on this slide, the lower right side, that is the event has been pasted to the APGN's Twitter. So I'll take this advertisement from APGN Twitter. So that also is a sharing in our network. So what happened here in Rendian Lombard is also appeared in APGN Twitter. So we are big families. We share good practices. So as I mentioned before, what I talked in last showed last pictures or slides is we emphasize that's in normal ways. But since the beginning of this year, we are in a quite different time or different appearance. That is the COVID pandemic. So how can we develop tourism, geotourism in these such a special times? So the GGN launched with a video on the April 22nd, that is the Earth Day. The initiative, the UNESCO Global Geopark should be a territory of resilience. What we are doing here, this moment, is a good example for territory to show resilience. In such a difficult time, Rendiani Lombard conduct this webinar to show what the geoparks can do in such a difficult time. So this is very well in line with the promotion or the initiative of GGN. But also for the APGN, we start initiative that is APGN Geoparks Week that started on the Earth Day. The last 1 week, officially 1 week, but some geoparks still continued their activities after that. So these pictures also show during such a difficult time, people demonstrating their resilience. This picture shows the panels of geoparks. They show not only their own, but also their sister geoparks, their friends, the other geoparks. So this exhibition in one geopark, if you go to there, you can get information for many others. Also, in this special time, some geoparks use this time to make conservation of their fossils of silicified wood. The right up picture shows the Zigun Geopark use this difficult time to preserve their silicified wood. And the lower right ones, that is Awashan Global Geopark in Northwest China. They showed documentary films and use these films to promote their geoheritage and their cultural heritage. So as I said, there's no fixed model for every geopark. Every geopark should find their proper ways which best fit their actual situations. So to develop geotourism. And these slides also show some other activities during these difficult times. And the people from geopark in Hong Kong, they celebrate many festivals And the upper right pictures show the Zgung Geopark. They developed this cartoon series with the themes of their own geoparks, that is dinosaurs. And the lower right pictures show on the street, on other popular places, the pictures of geoheritage of different geoparks. So the big family are APGs, a big family, so they share good practice and also promote each other. So one geopark promote not only their own things, but also their sister geoparks or their neighboring geoparks or the other geoparks they have any connection with. During these special times, the GGN also developed two websites. Another one is to visit the geoparks.org. That is promoting digitally the UNESCO Global Geoparks on the world. Another is the GGN Film Festival, which asked all the global geoparks to take short films and best show their own geoparks. And through these measures, all these procedures, so the people on the world can visit the global geopark, can watch the videos or the films introducing or promoting different UNESCO global geoparks. Also, our APGN, with the help of our Japanese colleagues, started an initiative that is our Planet Earth. That is also a short film platform on YouTube. So many geoparks has also posted their films introducing their geoparks, showing their activities on this APGN geoparks platform. So at this moment, so I'd like to conclude that. So as the motto, celebrating Earth's heritage, sustaining local economy goals, I'd like to emphasize UNESCO global geoparks seek balanced, sustainable development paradigms. So lastly, I'd like to show you this picture. This is a very good event, also occur in such a special time. That is a digital welcome ceremony for the new UNESCO Global Geoparks. That we have 15 new UNESCO Global Geopark members. I think one is from Indonesia. That should be Tobar Kadera. And this event will start tomorrow in the evening, that until 15 o'clock GMT. That is 9 o'clock in our time. So you are all welcome for this new UNESCO Global Geoparks welcome ceremony on Tuesday, tomorrow, and 15-hour GMT. With this, I conclude my talk. Thank you very much for your attention. So I'm quite willing to answer any question if all your audience have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Jin. It's very interesting presentation. I have write down few things that I can highlight related to your presentation. Like first, geotourism should be sustainable tourism, responsible tourism with all attributes inside, and scientific tourism. This is very important actually, the scientific one, because if we go to the destination, we just see the view without try to learn what's inside of the destination. And also geoparks should have their own characteristic. That's my own word, characteristic. It's not the same. There is no panacea. There is no same size of geopark. They have to have their own brand or things different. And in the GGN and PGN, they have the sharing the good practice. And the important thing for us here in Lombok that Professor Jean, how to say, highlight us as territories of resilience, especially for the difficult time during the earthquake and now in pandemic. That's why I would like to congratulate for the committee for this event. It's very innovative and breakthrough innovation. Uh, Now we turn to Q&A, question and answer session. We still have few times here. There are two ways of asking question. First, using raise hand mode. That's very familiar for those who are familiar with Zoom type. And the second one is you can also ask question through chat board. So you can type what do you want to ask, and then if we couldn't answer, if Professor Jean couldn't answer the question for today, maybe the committee will collect the question and deliver to Professor Jean. I think so. Okay, I give to the participants to ask the question. Your presentation is very excellent, Professor Jin. So
Thank you.
the participant already well understood what you have delivering, delivered. Yeah. Or maybe I can just trigger a question. Maybe there is some question later can come from the participant. We acknowledge that can I just ask simple question to trigger the participant, Professor Jin?
Yes, no problem.
Okay, you mentioned that the geotourism is well developed through the geoparks networks and so on. Maybe you can just explain to us because, like you said, there are three pillars of the sustainable development. We're talking about economy, we're talking about social cultural, we're talking about environment. So maybe you can just give us brief explanation related to what the geopark can contribute to the local economy as far as your experience so far.
Oh, yes. Thank you for your question. First, I emphasize that the four aspects of geotourism, geotourism should be a sustainable one, responsible one, scientific one, should be tourism promoting cultural heritages.
Yeah.
If during this, if we carry out geotourism with this aspect, four aspects in mind, we can benefit. Firstly, if the sustainable one, we try to profit the local communities. So
it seems that we got problem with the connection. Okay, it seems that we have
in the future of our next generations. Okay. So if somebody says, if we keep the environment protected,
we couldn't hear your voice, Professor Jean. It seems that there is problem with the internet
for tourists.
Okay.
So most tourists will be fascinated with rare intangible or
Dia masih still got problem. Professor Jean, we couldn't hear your voice. Okay, everybody. It seems that we got trouble with the connection. For the sake of technology, always that sometimes technology can help us, but sometimes can trap us like this.
Yeah.
Do you still hear me, Professor Jin?
I can hear you.
Okay. In a few seconds, we got problem with the connection. I couldn't hear you, but it seems that our time close to the finish. So, hello, you can hear me, Professor Jin? Okay, everyone, it seems that we still have problem with the connection again. But so at the end of this season, you still hear me, Professor Jin?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry for the connection. I don't know whether in China or here, but it seems that we have to finish up this session. Thank you very much. There are a few things that I would like to conclude from this session, that we have to have our own characteristic. That's the first one for the geopark. And we have to be innovative for everything that we can, enhance for the local people, for the tourists, for the all society as a whole. So geopark is not only for geologist people, not for the tourism people, not for the certain people, but for all, the environment, culture, and economy. I think that's what I have to say. And thank you very much. Big applause for you, Professor Jin, and big applause for the committee, big applause for the participant. And I hope this session will give benefit to the knowledge, to the people, to the economy, during the difficult time like what we experience now. Thank you very much once again. Okay, see you for next time, and we turn to the next session of webinar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
In life, there are moments where we feel stuck and have no idea what to do next. Don't be scared. That's normal. All we have to do is search. Sometimes, inspiration comes unexpectedly. Even from special places. Don't just enjoy the inspiration. Live it. When inspiration comes, don't hold it back. Let it flow. But don't forget to take notes so it doesn't slip by. Enjoy it for a while. Not too much, just enough. Because in the end, inspirations exist to be shared.
Welcome to Samota, a rich land of natural beauty, healthy coral reefs, beautiful forest reserves, stunning landscapes, and encounters with some of the largest animals on the planet. Samota is a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve in the West Nusa Tenggara region of Indonesia, consisting of three main areas, Saleh Bay, Moyo Island, and Tambora Volcano. It is easily accessible from a number of hubs throughout Indonesia. Travelers can fly from Jakarta, Bali, Makassar, and Surabaya to Lombok. From Lombok, it's a short flight to the regional airport at Sumbawa Besar. From the airport, travel across the beautiful landscape of Sumbawa to the scenic coastal village of Labuan Jambu, the main center of whale shark tourism in the Samota region. Labuan Jambu is a picturesque fishing village that is the perfect base to explore highlights of the area. The local people are friendly and welcoming, and the village is surrounded by low hills and stunning rice fields. The biggest attraction is the opportunity to encounter the largest fish in the sea, the whale shark. Whale sharks are attracted by the activities of the fishermen on their traditional boats called bagans. The fishermen believe that the whale sharks bring them luck and are happy to accept their presence. In recent times, the Labuan Jambu people have fully embraced whale shark tourism as an activity involving the entire community. The community has created helpful educational briefings and a code of conduct to make this activity safe for both visitors as well as the whale sharks. And the people of Labuan Jambu are proud to welcome all visitors. In order to provide a healthy and safe environment, they are adapting to the current situation to ensure new normal protocols are in place throughout the region. The people of the Samota region are looking forward to welcome you soon.
Pertama pakaiannya seperti ini, minus baju ya, tidak pakai baju. Jadi ikat kepala ini Presean ini salah satu permainan tradisional masyarakat Sasak yang paling populer dan menghibur ya. Mengapa ini dilaksanakan? Ini memang disediakan sebagai arena untuk melatih olah rasa, olah gerak, kemudian olah hati juga ya, yang dikemas demikian rupa sehingga Presean ini menjadi tontonan yang menarik. Awalnya itu adalah ya tadi untuk latihan kebugaran, kemudian latihan olah rasa, persahabatan, mengasah sportivitas dan seterusnya. Dalam berkontestasi ya itu harus bisa menjaga hati, menjaga diri, menjaga sesuatu yang bisa membuat kita menjadi over dalam emosi misalnya, itu dilatih di sini. Ada tameng. Nah, tameng ini terbuat dari tameng ini semacam perisai ya, itu terbuat dari kulit kerbau, bisa kulit sapi. Yang terbaik itu kulit menjangan, kulit rusa. Kemudian ada lagi stick yang terbuat dari rotan, itulah yang dimainkan, ya dengan cara ya berusaha untuk saling memukul dan menangkis, memukul, menepis, ya. Dan dalam permainan inilah di situ dibutuhkan latihan-latihan juga. Di situ pemainnya kan 2 orang laki-laki, ya, di mana setiap orang memegang perisai di satu tangannya dan memegang stick di tangannya yang lain. Yang terlibat di sini ada wasit yang disebut pekembar. Wasit ini ada wasit tengah yang memimpin pertandingan, ya, pekembar tengah. Ada juga pekembar sedi, wasit pinggir. Nah, wasit pinggir ini mengincar calon pemain. Ya, ini kan dibuat kerumunan, kemudian diambil pemain peresian itu yang mau beradu ini dari para penonton. Nah, itu butuh wasit pinggir 2 orang. Ya, itu yang menyeleksi, mengincar calon pemainnya. Bisa pada hari-hari tertentu, hari-hari besar, misalnya perayaan 17 Agustus dirayakan dengan itu. Kemudian apabila seseorang mempunyai suatu hajatan, maka bisa seseorang itu mengadakan peresian juga. Atau ada ulang tahun dari sebuah desa misalnya, bisa juga. Yang jelas bahwa di dalam peresian ini ada sportivitas. Ya, sportivitas itu misalnya setelah mereka bertanding, kemudian mereka akan membangun atau menjalin persahabatan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is happy and healthy today. Thank you so much for joining us for this special event, Geotourism Festival 2020. My name is Eka. I will be the moderator for the second session. We are going to discuss about the topic, a very interesting topic, about success story of geopark development in Japan. We have 2 very great speakers, Dr. Atsuko Nina and Ms. Nakada, Yoshi Nakada. They are both working for the Izu Peninsula Geopark Promotion Councils in Japan. Today, we will start with the presentation from Dr. Atsuko Nina first, and then followed by the presentation from Ms. Yoshi Nakada.
Good morning. My name is Atsuko Nina.
Hello, Dr. Atsuko Nina. Are you there?
Yes. Today, I'd like to talk about the success story of geotourism development in Japan.
Yeah, how is the weather in Japan?
I'm very happy to share my presentation with you.
Rainy day.
First of all,
now
it's
a rainy
question.
season in Japan, and we have much
kind
rainfall.
of success story do you want to know?
So can you listen to me?
So would you please write your...
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, thank you so much. Good morning.
Okay, hi. Would you like to start your presentations?
Yes. So before I'd like to say something, okay?
Okay. Please welcome the presentation of success story of Japanese geopark development from Dr. Atsuko Nina.
Good morning. My name is Atsuko Nina. I'm a human geographer. Today, I'd like to talk about the success story of geotourism development in Japan. I'm very happy to share my presentation with you. First of all, I have a simple question. What kind of success story do you want to know? So, would you please write your answer or comment on chat? I guess many people answer economic success or attracting many tourists. Some answer overcoming over tourism. The others answer successful conservation. At this moment, I have no idea. I hope this presentation will satisfy you. So, what is geotourism? Definition is very important. This is the definition of geotourism. According to the Alorca Declaration on Geotourism in 2011, have you ever read it? Yes? Okay. It says, geotourism sustains and enhances the identity of a territory, taking into consideration its geology, environment, culture, aesthetics, heritage, and the well-being of its residents. In addition, it says, geological tourism is one of the multiple components of geotourism. In Japan, people misunderstood geotourism as geological tourism for a long time. And many people studied geology very, very hard to become a geotour guide. After they passed the examination on geology and became a tour guide, they offered geological tour. Unfortunately, those tours fascinated limited tourists who are interested in geology. Of course, geology is very important for geopark, but everything is not geology. We should focus on the identity of a territory and offer various tours to visitors. Dr. Marie-Louise Frey said in her lecture, which I took before in Lesbos, a satisfied visitor will be a good ambassador. I totally agree with her. We should consider how to share fantastic moments with visitors in the geopark. So, what is your recommendation when your guests want to spend precious time in your geopark? So, if you have any ideas, please write it down on chat. I'm very happy to share your idea with all participants. So the situation has been improved in Japan. I'd like to show you good example of geotourism development later. So this map shows the distribution of geoparks in Japan. There are 43 geoparks here. 9 are UNESCO Global Geoparks, and the others are aspiring UNESCO Global Geoparks. So over 12 years have passed since the geopark initiatives started in Japan. So geoparks in Japan has built a strong network as the Japanese Geoparks Network in order to promote the geopark. As for geotourism, In Japan, so many geoparks organize a training course for geotour guide as a geopark interpreter. Because a geopark needs to connect people to the earth and the identity of a locality or identity of a territory. Finally, geo-guided tours are available in all geoparks in Japan. This is one of success in geopark in Japan. So next, I will show you some points in common between Japan and Indonesia. So please find two countries in the next slide. Go. Could you see two countries? This map shows the plate boundaries and the distribution of seismic centers in the world. We cannot see Japan and Indonesia. Without Kalimantan Island, we can see Kalimantan Island. But we cannot see Japan and Indonesia because of distribution of seismic centers along the plate boundaries. So here is the common points between two countries. Location is similar. Two countries located on the plate boundaries. We have the similar geohazard, such as volcanic eruption, tsunami, and earthquakes. Sometimes I ask this question: why do you live in such a dangerous place? There are many safe places in the world where you can avoid from volcanic eruptions and earthquakes. Why? One day, a student answered, I cannot choose my birthplace. I love my hometown, even if here is a very dangerous place. Hope to live here for a long time until I will die. But it is not easy, because it is difficult to get my career, which I hope in a rural area. What can we do for him? What do you want to do for the next generation? Here is an answer. Murata UNESCO Global Geopark. Murata was designated as a member of Global Geopark Network in 2011 and then designated as UNESCO Global Geopark in 2015. The population size is 13,000. The area is almost 250 square kilometers. Murata is the forefront of the birth of new land through the subduction of the authentic plates and uplifting from great earthquake along the Nankai Trough of the coast of Murata. So you can see fantastic geoheritage like turbidites on the picture. I really love this turbidites. On the other hand, they face on a severe social situation. The population, economic decline, and limited access to medical service and social service. Before they started the geopark project, there was no request for guided tour because there was no tour guide available there. Murata Geopark Promotion Council organized a training course for tour guides. Local people who are not specialized person but ordinary people take part in it and become geo-tour guides. Finally, they have many tour requests. The maximum number of guests is almost 20,000 per year. Now, young generation engage in geotour guides and start a new business there. They stimulate the tourism economy in Murato successfully. And this is one of a good promotional example to express the identity of the territory. Go, Murato people! They focus on local people in Murato. They introduce farmers, their products, and farmland at the farmers market. You can see posters with local farmers on the wall in the picture. You can find the farmer who raised vegetable in your hand at the market. And geotour guides organize a new geotours. They will take you to farmland and the agriculture landscape. I think this is a good example to combine geopark with agriculture for promoting geotourism. So why can they do that? Because they take bottom-up approach. Murato UNESCO Global Geopark Promotion Council has strong relation with local communities. They provide a geopark platform for local people to promote local participation successfully. They set regular meetings which have specific topics, for example, geotourism, conservation, and promotion. Local people come to join it and discuss these topics and start new projects. And this platform works very well. Murato UNESCO Global Geopark provides good opportunity to young generation and newcomers in order for them to enter the local society. They build up strong human network in Murato by participating in geopark project. You can find a young guy in a picture. He is Mr. Nojima, a young newcomer to Murato. He engages in reviving local green tea plantation. I think Murato UNESCO Global Geopark encourages civic pride strongly, and the geopark concept has changed and stimulated local society for sustainable development. Under the COVID-19 pandemic, Murato UNESCO Global Geopark expresses what local people think about this situation on YouTube. Let's see.
これはホスタンゴール。ホスタンゴール。収穫はの時期はいつですか？これはもうちょっと前に終わりました。3月。今キラメッセに小松さんのホスタンゴール並んでますけど、ホスタンゴールの特徴って他の柑橘系と比べてどう？酸味が少なくって甘いですね。手とかほどじゃないけど身が柔らかいっていう。ちょうど今のこの季節の口当たり優しいっていうか食べやすいんですね。うちは今のところそんなにはあれですけどやっぱり楽市に出してるのが主なので、楽市が営業停止ってなったら出荷する場所がなくなるっていうのがありますね。その物だけ余らせて出せないっていう在庫抱えるみたいな感じになっちゃうんで、それがちょっと痛いところではありますね。室戸はまだそんなに人出てへんとは言うてはるけど、でもやっぱり気をつけなあかんのは気をつけなあかんし、マスクこそしてへんけどやっぱり手洗いは家帰ったら速攻で手洗いはしてるので。コロナについて何か言ってました？やっぱり話したりします？なんか家族とそのことめちゃめちゃ意識はしてるけど、ちょっと言い方変えたら 過敏になりすぎっていうところはあるかな。取りこぼしちゃんと包丁で包丁でやってあげたらなおよし。
美味しそう。
こんな感じです。で一応これあれやけど一応種はあるので種でできたらペって取ってあげてください。よかった。それはよかった。なんか小夏みたいな。
So here is conclusion. Geopark is about people. Participation of local people is the key to success for not only geotourism but also sustainable development. It is not easy. Please take time. Next speaker is Miss Yoshie Nakada. I'd like to introduce her to you. She is a key person of the East Peninsula UNESCO Global Geopark. She has many projects. She will talk about them later. The most important thing is she really enjoys Geopark. Before her presentation, I'd like to share the background of tourism in East Peninsula. Over-tourism is one of our problems. We have more than 40 million visitors per year. Most of them come to the island, to the peninsula by car. You can see traffic jam and garbage problem everywhere. We should manage this problem for sustainable tourism. Second, we have economic issues. For example, the productivity of tourism industry is very low. Many people engage in the tourism industry, but their salary is not so high. This is typical service economy. We'd like to change this situation. And finally, social issue. It is not easy to enhance participation of local community into the geopark because the population size is almost 70,000 in the peninsula and the area is so big. I can say on behalf of the management body of East Peninsula, UNESCO Global Geopark, that this is one of our serious weak points. Sees our hope. She builds up a strong human network in the peninsula and organizes new geotours to express identity of their peninsula with local people. I think she is an innovator. Hope you enjoy her presentation and compare with our case of Muroto. Thank you for your attention.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Atsuko Nina. Yes, very great presentation. I wish we could meet in person. I would like to give a big applause for you. So in virtual, yeah, thank you. And now we would like to continue with Miss Yoshi Nakada. Hello, Miss Yoshi. Yes, Yoshi Nakada, yes. Okay, everyone, please welcome Ms. Yoshi Nakada with her presentations about success story of geotourism development in Japan. Time is yours, Ms. Yoshi.
Good morning. My name is Nakada Yoshie. I'm a geotour guide of the Peninsula Geoguide Association.
Yeah.
Today, I will tell you about new trends of geotourism in its Peninsula UNESCO Global Geopark, Japan, a case of the its Peninsula Geoguide Association. Today's agenda. The first, outline of its Peninsula UNESCO Global Geopark. The second, about the East Peninsula Geoguide Association. The third, increase of visitors after the designation. The fourth, collaboration with local people. The fifth, conclusion. First, I will tell you about its Peninsula Geopark. This is Japan, and here is the peninsula, almost in the center of the main island. The Ise Peninsula is located 100 kilometers west to Tokyo. It's very near to Tokyo. Due to the accessibility to Tokyo, the peninsula has attracted more than 40 million tourists per year. People enjoy lovely view, hot springs, and delicious food. The Ise Peninsula is located at the northern edge of the Philippine Sea Plate, and another oceanic plate, the Pacific Plate, subducts under the Philippine Sea Plate. And this subduction provides enough magma to develop the Ise Peninsula. On the other hand, the Philippine Sea Plate subducts under the Eurasian Plate, on which the main island is located. Because of the tectonic pattern, the Ise Peninsula is sandwiched between two plate subduction boundaries. About 20 million years ago, Ise was a group of submarine volcanoes located 800 kilometers south from the current position. Submarine volcanoes drifted due to the northward movement of the Philippine Sea Plate. Finally, the block was collided with the main island and uplifted. After the collision, terrestrial volcanoes erupted continuously. The blue zone is submarine volcanoes and pink one is terrestrial volcanoes. They formed the peninsula same as today. And in the eastern part of the peninsula, the independent monogenetic volcanoes eruption continued until today. As the Philippine Sea Plate is still continuously pushing up into the main island, this ongoing process creates various landforms and dynamic landscapes. Our main theme is volcanic gift from the south. This figure shows the distribution of the geosites. I put the points with different colors. Red points are easy access sites. Blue colors are for educational purposes. Yellow are for researchers. There are 136 geosites in total. As this map shows, geosites spread throughout the peninsula. The area is over 1,500 square kilometers, and the population is about 700,000. This is the history of its peninsula UNESCO Global Geopark. In 2012, it was designated as a Japanese National Geopark, and 6 years later, 2 years ago, it was designated as a UNESCO Global Geopark. What do you think about this picture? This is the international significant geosite of the peninsula, named Dogashima. The strata were made by volcanic ash, and here is the world-famous research field of submarine volcanoes. This landscape tells nothing. Ordinary people don't understand what this is. That's why our mission is to connect people to the earth. I'm a chairperson of the Ise Peninsula GeoGuide Association. The association is a geopark partner. It was established in 2012 and has operated guided tour service during the past 8 years. Now it has 120 members. We conduct geotours for groups as well as individual tourists. And we also take school excursions. Generally, fee-based guided tour is not popular in Japan, and individual tourists tend to travel by themselves. Many volunteer tour guides provide free service in Japan. But our group members don't work for free. We are professional guides. How do we become geotour guides? The Promotion Council organizes the guide training course every 2 years. Mostly retired and housewives like me, sometimes young people take part in it. Since the Geopark initiative started in this area, we, ordinary people, have guided visitors in our home, its peninsula. Until 2018, the association received about around 100 guided tour requests per year by individual tourists as well as local school excursions. After the designation as a UNESCO Global Geopark, the association has received increasing requests for guided tours. TV or magazine editors escort too. The increase of the request was 3.9 times more than the year before. Unfortunately, this year, the requests decreased because of the COVID-19 affection. It shows the increase in visitors to the Central Geopark Museum. The number of the visitors has almost doubled until COVID-19 infection. The reason of decrease in 2019 is that opportunities of the promotion decreased compared to the previous year. This is the most popular geosite, a waterfall in the northern part of the peninsula. It was made by lava flow from Mount Fuji. The access to the geosite is quite easy. It locates in the city area and 5-minute drive from the railway station at which the bullet train stops, and only 10-minute drive from the highway gate. The number of the visitors increased more than doubled. Now it is decreasing due to the bus operation, COVID-19, and so on. This is the distribution of guided tour after designation and the percentage of the tour guests. The guide requests are concentrated more at the specific sites, like this, in northern area. In this area, many people come with group, such as school trip. On the other hand, in the western and southern area, most of the people come individually. The popular geosites in 2018. This is our geopark's icon, Ascoria Hill, Mount Omroyama, and it made a lava coast, Jogasaki Coast. They are in the eastern part of the peninsula. The volcano's landscape attracts many tourists. 31% people of our guided tour guests visited these sites. The next most popular geosite is a hot spring and an active fault park. The fault moved 90 years ago. There you can see the result of the 2-meter fault displacement. 28% and 70% people visit respectively. However, we have other fascinating geosites too. For example, Dogashima, Tenso Sea Cave, Iruma, and so on. Then these locate at the other areas in western and southern area. I'll show you the public transportation in the peninsula. It shows railway access is limited, especially in western and southern areas. We don't have a railway network, and other areas are covered by bus network. I already told you about these geosites, Dogashima. These are located at the remote area when we use the public transportation. It takes 2 hours by bus from the nearest railway station. In case of another geosite, accessibility is quite limited because only 2 buses are available per day. In order to invite tourists to the traffic inconvenient areas, western and southern part of the peninsula. What is the strategy? We are now trying to develop geotourism. We suggest new attractive tours. We make the tours with local people such as farmers, fishermen, or craftsmen. For example, swimming with female divers. We call them amasan. And the second, we provide special experience to the visitors. The third, the tours have own stories. One example. This is a bonito flag manufactory located in the western part of the peninsula. Mr. Serizawa is a master of the factory. People can catch much bonito here, and people have made bonito flake from 1,200 years ago. He continues the traditional making method. In the winter, strong wind blows this area from the bay, but it isn't freezing. This is the perfect condition to dry bonito. With bonito flakes, Japanese make delicious soup. Our tour visits his factory and try to cut the flakes and taste them. Another idea. This is wasabi field. Do you know wasabi? Have you ever tried it? It's spicy and hot, very similar to horseradish. We put them on sushi. Very tasty. Izu wasabi is known for its high quality and tasty and a little bit expensive. When we started to make the wasabi tour, I asked the farmer, what is the most important thing to grow wasabi? His answer was, actually growing wasabi is not so easy. It needs some strict conditions, huge amount of water at a constant temperature, drainage system, and short hours of daylight. Everything matches for wasabi plant here. I was really surprised. This is exactly geology. At that time, I wanted to make tour with him. After that, we discussed again and again. And finally, we made the wasabi tour. Because the peninsula is surrounded by the sea, many kinds of sea activities are available. Even under the sea surface, you can enjoy the geopark. We make new tours in collaboration with sea activities such as scuba diving, snorkeling, sea kayaking, standing up paddles, and so on. First, the divers and guides learn about geopark and cooperate with geotour guides. These pictures were taken at the promotion held in a shopping mall. The collaboration will bring us some good effects. For local people, they recognize precious treasures in their hometown. They have good relationships with visitors. The tours bring profit and new customers. For visitors and tourists, impressive, unforgettable memories. For geotour guides, for us, it helps us create innovative tours. It makes profit and new customers. Conclusion. In Japan, fee-based professional guided tour is not popular. However, we operate fee-based tours for individual, group, and school. The second, the UNESCO Global Geopark designation impacted on guided tour requests. The third, the collaboration with local community is a key to success for geotourism. The fourth, we are trying to promote our service in whole territory for sustainability. We are looking forward to seeing you in East Peninsula. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Ms. Yoshi Nakada, for the great presentations. We really appreciate the success story of geotourism in Japan, especially you bring up the case of Izu Peninsula Geopark. All right, now we are going to continue with question and answer. I can see here we have Arif Budiman. He has a questions about the, yes, he says here, really want to know about geosite in geopark in Japan, which become a tourist sport in pandemic era. And the question is, what is the solution to face the condition in this era? Maybe Nina and Yosi can answer the questions. Please.
Okay. So we have some solutions. Okay, so Yoshi will answer.
Wireless microphone. Maybe 5 people. Usually we take the guest 10 to 15 people.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
Do you listen? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So
My answer, can you hear?
Can you hear the questions? I'll just repeat once again. So
yes,
from
yes.
So, usually we take the guests 10 to 15 people, but now I guide them. The maximum guest is under 5 people. And another solution use wireless phone receivers. Now we'll do it. My answer is me.
Oh, okay. Well, from the two speakers about the success story of geotourism development in Japan, actually we can take so many lessons learned actually. The first one is related with the geopark is about people. So the focus more on how we can engage local people, local community, so that they can get involved in the geopark development in Japan, especially with this involvement, participations. These are the key success of Japanese style of geopark tourism developments. And the second key success is related with the how we can create or provide spatial and special experience to visitors or tourists who come to visit our the Japanese geopark. And the last one is related with the how we build the stories that comes from the existing locations on the sites, on the geotourism developments, and how these stories can also bring knowledge to others about the cultures, about the geosites, about all the specific or uniqueness of geotourism in Japan. And the last point that I can take note from these two great presenters or speakers is the importance of collaborations. Not only that involving local people is important, but also how we can collaborate with other actors, stakeholders who involve in the geotourism development in Japan. Well, Japan and Indonesia have many similarities, as Ms. Atsuko Nina mentions in her presentations. So it's very interesting if we can also take these similarities as a lesson learned of how we can develop a successful story also for geotourism development in Indonesia. This is the lesson learned that we can take for all of us. And I would like to thanks two presenters. Please join me to give a big applause for Ms. Atsuko Nina and Yoshi Nakada. Thank you very much. And before we end this session, I would like to remind all of us, please join us, stay with us, because we are going to have the
next topic, a very interesting topics about how to create a geotourism package. I think it's very useful for all of us. So please join us for the next stations. And lastly, don't forget, if you go to the main page of the Geotourism Festival, you go to launch, we will have a quiz. So please join us for the quiz as well. We have many giveaways, very interesting giveaways for you all. Thank you and stay healthy, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Here I am, Labuan Bajo!
Look at this view. Oh, it's so beautiful. The Komodo, the last real dragon on Earth. Hey, turtle.
Pertama pakaiannya seperti ini, minus baju ya, tidak pakai baju. Jadi ikat kepala ini diikat senyamannya, intinya untuk melindungi kepala. Kemudian tidak pakai baju, pakai ini bebek, ikat pinggang dari bahan kain. Kemudian beberapa pemain itu mengandalkan jimatnya juga. Ini yang disebut ende dari kulit kerbau sapi atau kulit rusa. Ya, ini stick dari tongkat dari rotan yang dipakai.
Dari kaki Gunung Rinjani kami ucapkan selamat menyaksikan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. If I could have your attention, please. I would like to welcome you all today in this very special event. And thank you for coming to this webinar. Terima kasih kepada peserta sekalian telah bergabung bersama kami di sesi ketiga dari virtual webinar of Geotourism Festival 2020. And selama 60 menit ke depan kita akan berbincang dengan topik how to create geotourism package. And dear attendees, today we are honored to have very outstanding speaker and expert of geotourism, Prof. Nur. Prof. Nur, are you there? Hello, Prof. Nur, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, how are you doing, Prof?
Very good, thank you. And it's wonderful to be invited to talk today.
Yeah, what time is it in Australia?
It's just about 2 p.m.
Well, so we have so many attendees here from across Indonesia and some countries around Indonesia. Well, attendees, to make you more connected to Prof. Nur, let me read a short resume of Prof. Nur here. Prof. Nur adalah adjunct professor of tourism management at University of Sunshine Coast and has worked at Griffith University and University of Queensland. Beliau juga telah bekerja sebagai tourism consultant dan researcher for 26 years dan telah memimpin banyak proyek penelitian, juga consultant project in sustainable tourism, tourism branding, destination management, tourism product, and experience design and China tourism. And so many experiences related to his qualification. Peserta sekalian, setelah ini kita akan mendengarkan presentasi dari Prof. Nur for no more than 40 minutes. And after that, we have 15 minutes for question and answer session. So for you who have some questions, please drop your question at the chat box. Feel free to use Bahasa Indonesia or Bahasa Inggris. Okay, and well, without further ado, let's join me in welcoming Prof. Nur in presenting his paper entitled How to Create Geotourism Package. Prof. Nur, please have the floor, please.
I wanted to talk to you today about how to create a geotourism package. So let's see if I can get this started. Okay, so my talk today is based on some work that I've done in Lombok over a number of years, and I'm lucky to have visited Lombok a number of times to meet people from Mataram University and also a number of people who have been involved in Australia Awards Indonesia projects, including the talented Melly, who invited me to do this talk. And in fact, you'll see Melly has already done some work on creating a geotourism package in Lombok as part of her Australia Awards Indonesia Sustainable Development for Tourism course that she did a couple of years ago. And I'm going to be basing a lot of my discussion and talk on Melly's work, but I'm just going to add a few things to it about perhaps how we could go. Generally, if you want to think about designing a geotourism package, my main message is that I want you to think about developing not a package, but an experience for visitors. And you do that in a fairly simple process. You start off by identifying the resources through research and consultation that you can use for your developing the experience. Then you think about how to shape those resources to create interest, emotion, and a unique selling proposition for your market. So you need to think about not just the resources, but how visitors, potential visitors, are going to react to that to make it, to position the product in the right format for your markets. And I'll talk about that. And then, of course, once you do that, then you can come up with a product, a price, work out how to promote it, and then implement it after doing some market testing, as Melly has already done. So what is the resource we're going to talk about here in Lombok? Well, the first one is Mount Rinjani. Now, it's very interesting. Mount Rinjani, I think, dominates the landscape of Lombok. And so you can pretty much see it wherever you go in Lombok. And it's an important center, both geologically, but also culturally, and has had a profound effect both on the environment of Lombok, but it's also had a profound effect on the people of Lombok. And the relationship between the people of Lombok and Mount Rinjani, I think, is a very interesting story, which is not very clear, I think, to overseas people. And I think that's part of developing a experience for visitors. But of course, the main one that we're going to talk about here is also this volcanic eruption. And as I've learned more about this, it's fascinating. So Mount Samalas was a very high mountain, much higher than Mount Rinjani, which exploded in 1257. So about almost 800 years ago. And although it wasn't known until recently, this was the biggest volcanic eruption in recent, in the last 2,000 years. And in fact, triggered an ice age, a little ice age in around the world, and was also noticed in Europe. So the years after 1257 were actually colder and led to famines. So there's a connection between this explosion and history around the world, which is, again, very important in creating a experience for visitors. So what we call Mount Rinjani now is a remnant or part of a larger volcanic complex that exploded in 1257. And here we see some information which is already available. Melly has developed this, I think, which shows the effect of the sunless eruption around the world. So that's a great story that illustrates the importance of this of the eruption. And today, when we go to Lombok, we will find that the landscape has been shaped by this eruption. So the Semmelus caldera erupted, creating enormous what they call pyroclastic flows. So these are flows of gravel, rock, perhaps water mixed together, which flow down the mountain and destroy anything in their path. And there were three main paths that have been found by scientists, three main flows. These flows were enormous. So on the right-hand side, you can see that I'm standing at the base of a pyroclastic flow that might be 20 meters deep. And so this makes a extremely interesting physical representation of this disaster, and is the basis for part of a very emotional story about the effects of this caldera, the eruption. There has been, as I've been through the literature, reading more about this volcanic eruption, you'll be able to see that there's a lot of information already available. And one of the interesting things that I found is that this, some research has already tried to identify the shape of the landscape prior to the eruption, and also has identified that this eruption buried a town, buried the capital of the kingdom of Pamatan, which was the kingdom that inhabited Lombok at that time. And this is a wonderful part of a story which I hadn't heard about before. So here we have a hook or part of a very interesting story that has great resonance and engagement for people, I think, especially people from Australia and other Western countries. So the lost city of Pamantan, what a great idea. The Pompeii of the East. That's a very engaging and interesting story, narrative, which could be built into an experience, but I hadn't seen that previously. And I would strongly encourage you to investigate locating that city, because if you can locate the site of that city and start to excavate it, you will have an experience of a global scale. There are other things which I found interesting about the Mount Rinjani and the general area, and that is that one of the 10,000 rupiah notes actually had an image of the caldera and its lake. And so that, to me, indicates that there is some significant recognition of Mount Rinjani and the area in the domestic market in Indonesia. But going further, we find some historical information about from the time of the eruption that was written down by people at that time. The Babad Lombok is a historical record of that event, which makes it incredibly interesting. But again, I hadn't seen that before. I hadn't seen any information about that connects the explosion to the culture and history of the local people, which I think would be part of an interesting story. Generally, though, the in much of Lombok, the environment is very beautiful, green and luxuriant, and there are a number of other things to see in the area at the basically at the base of Mount Rinjani. But to me, these things are interesting, but they're not the main story. The main story is about the volcano, its eruption, and its effects on people. So perhaps you can build visits to the farming communities or the products, but you have to relate that back to this central idea, the central theme of the story. So if we look at a summary of the tangible and intangible resources that Lombok has, if we look at the tangible resources, the things that we can include to show to tourists in our experience, there's Mount Rinjani itself, a great tangible feature to show people and to explain to people. We've got tangible examples of the pyroclastic flows that occurred in a quarry in numerous locations around around Lombok. We've got the image that we can show people of the old 10,000 rupiah note. We've got a bamboo book recording the history of the eruption, although I'm not sure where that is. And I believe we were looking to develop a visitor center, which can be a location for displaying artifacts and perhaps audio-visual material for visitors. We've also got a number of intangible features that we can tell people about. I think one which is not being made use of is this lost city. We've got this idea that the eruption was connected to an ice age around the world. And in fact, we've also got cultural interpretations, the connections of the local people to Mount Rinjani, which I don't see are very clearly connected at the moment. So if I had to think about all of this stuff boiled down, there's some strengths. We've got Mount Rinjani, which is the world's largest explosion. That's something which I think is incredibly valuable as a resource to talk to people about. But a weakness of this experience or the resources is that there is little physical evidence of the tragedy. You can go and see a pyroclastic flow or the layering, but at the moment that story isn't being brought alive. And that's what I think is the big issue about developing a package for a geotourism experience, is to somehow bring the story of the eruption and its effects on people and the relationship to Mount Rinjani alive in a way which creates emotion and a valuable story for people. So this is where we start to talk not about the resources, the things that you have, but how we can transform these stories into an experience for visitors. So this is, visitors don't go to see Mount Rinjani, they go to experience it, to learn, to experience some adventure, some romance, some excitement, some learning, and those are the things that we want to include. So I think that if we take the resources, the physical and the intangible resources, and try and work out how to present it, we need to relate it to a theme. Now, the theme, I've identified 3 themes here. So in theory, you could develop 3 different packages based with different content and targeted at different people. The first one, I called it Lost Civilizations. So this is about an experience that talks about the romance and tragedy of being of a civilization, of a people, of a kingdom being destroyed by the volcano, and perhaps how people have then overcome that. So here we would talk about Pamantan, we would talk about the bamboo book, we would look at the pyroclastic flows, but we would talk about perhaps how that has affected people at the time and since. We might talk about the cultural connection to Mount Rinjani of the local people and adaptability of the local people to challenge. So that's one. There's a second theme, which is perhaps more the traditional geotourism package. So that's about emphasizing only the science, the geology of the area, and talk about Mount Rinjani as a volcano, the pyroclastic flows, and perhaps the largest eruption and its effects in the Ice Age. So here we'd be trying to emphasize the awe and wonder of nature and how it can affect people, and but focus on the science of it. And to me, that's good, but I think it misses some of the romance and tragedy of that lost civilization. A third theme that we could position our experience or our geotourism package about is perhaps more generally about Mount Rinjani and being a source of life. So this would be more about appreciation of nature generally. And you'd be talking about Mount Rinjani, the environment of Lombok, and perhaps bringing in some of the culture and the importance of Mount Rinjani to local culture. So what I'm trying to say is, at the moment, we're talking about a geotourism package, but I think there's many different ways to relate the eruptions of Mount Rinjani to the marketplace in experiences. So we might actually think about focusing these different themes or different packages for different groups of people. I think international people from Australia and overseas would be particularly interested in lost civilizations. The idea that Lombok, the eruption of Mount Rinjani, or led to a lost civilization. But they might also be interested in Mount Rinjani as a source of life. That is about understanding what Lombok is and the central place of Mount Rinjani in Lombok. I think that for international visitors, the idea of a science geotourism package is interesting, but it's a smaller market. However, for school children, especially for local school children, people or families, they might be more interested in the traditional geotourism package, the science of volcanoes. And the unique selling point here would be it's part of their education, and you could link it to the study of geology or history of people, of students in primary or secondary school in Indonesia. I think then I'm less certain about the attraction for the various different themes for local people or for other Indonesians, but perhaps you could do some work to see which theme might be attractive to which target market. So then, once you've done that, let's think about the way of presenting that experience to people. And there's a number of different ways, which all can provide part or the whole geotourism experience. So one way might actually be to provide a self-guided tour. This might be something that a homestay might offer to entertain people or to provide people with an add-on experience. You might allow people to walk around the village or walk around the area by themselves or with a tour guide and learn about the geology or the other themes of the area. The key issue here is knowledge, making sure that the guides are knowledgeable and interesting, able to present the material in a entertaining, interesting, and engaging way, and of course, language. So in the absence of people able to speak the language, perhaps a self-guided tour might be good, but it would be preferable if there was a professionally guided tour, but that requires lots of training for these guides. And I'm not aware, there may be, but I'm not aware of the guides who have the experience to talk about, for example, the lost civilization in with a lot of knowledge. Another way, and I think this would be a useful way of developing the experience, is to further enhance a visitor information and interpretation center. And in fact, I think if you could develop, create more knowledge about the lost city or create audio-visual material and 3D images of the eruptions to better communicate it to people, then I think a museum or a visitor information center would actually be very useful. But it would need to have good exhibits which are exciting and interesting. Of course, you can also add on to that food and beverage. So any geotourism package or experience should offer food and beverage options, which can be a great way of getting extra revenue. And of course, you can connect it to an overnight package, especially if you've got enough things for people to do to occupy them, or perhaps if the geotourism experience is connected to a longer tour. Okay, so let's say that you've got now your theme, you've got, so you've thought about how you're going to develop it, you've got some trained staff. The next thing, of course, is to start to do your market research. And I think Melly has done a lot of work here. She's shown information about a visitor information center. This visitor information center, I think, would be suitable to start with, but I think it could be developed further with investment in interesting displays and exhibits, especially ones which can create emotion, perhaps through audio-visual material or even 3D virtual experiences. Geo homestays. So these geo homestays at the moment are, I would call it basic, that may be suitable for backpackers or for the 1 to 2 star market, or certainly perhaps for local or regional visitors. And then they can be connected to a tour or a walking tour, for example, perhaps to the top of Mount Rinjani. But I think if you want to develop if you want to attract the higher market, the 3, 4, 5 star market, then you'll be doing tours from the hotels in Mataram or Singigi or other places. Melly has done a lot of work on a tour package itinerary and pricing. My comments on this are that the theme is not clear. The theme of this tour is partly about a volcanic eruption, but it tries to bring many things together. And I think it needs, and that's because the physical evidence of the eruption is weak, and there's need to develop that intangible or audio-visual side of things and train people to know more about the history of the eruption or the lost city. But typically, what Melly has done is very good. She has developed a 2-day itinerary with lots of parts, some interesting music, which is good, and given a price to it. So this is what you have to do, and some reaction from a visitor. And do some market testing and find out what works, work with local people to actually develop it, and perhaps see how people react to staying overnight, get the local governor involved, which is a good thing, and then create a package. Now that's good. I think what Melly's done is wonderful. I think that she has not been ambitious enough. I think that there is more to do here to take this, what would be a regional attraction, something which is a half-a-day tour, perhaps, to something which could be an attraction in itself. That is taking, developing a visitor information center, theming it around theming around the volcano, the science, but perhaps even about the lost city. And I would encourage the people of Lombok to do more research on finding that city. And if you can find that city, you've got a global tourist attraction. So thinking for the future, I'd suggest finding ruins, which gives you some physical evidence, which would be the basis for a great lost civilizations package. I think you need an interpretation center, but I think you need to be more aggressive in developing interesting interpretation material, perhaps audio-visual material. And I've found online lots of interesting videos, some of which are actually about the geotourism, the science of volcanoes, and even about Mount Rinjani. And I would encourage you to collect some of that and use it. You may want to think about developing a self-guided walking tour, but certainly it's about training the local people in the history of the volcano and giving them language skills. And then another idea, you see, the history of Mount Rinjani, or this volcanic eruption, is not just located in one part of the island. And I think that it could be developed more in terms of a touring loop around the island. This is something that I did. You can actually even make souvenirs. This is made from recycled plastic about Mount Rinjani and sell them to tourists. That might be an interesting way of making a little bit of money. And even themed food. Here's just an idea. It's a fun idea that I thought. So if you want to bring the idea of geotourism alive, maybe you could have some meals, a cake, which looks like a volcano, or a pyroclastic flow, a cake which looks like a pyroclastic flow, or even have a geo menu with lots of different things that you sell to tourists. That again is not just selling science, but selling fun and excitement, especially for young people. Here's an example of a drive tour in Scotland, which is based on geotourism, and I think maybe could be part of a tour of northern Lombok that you could think about. So I found that there's lots of information about the volcanic eruptions on Lombok, which can be used to train people. So I'd encourage you to do that. So overall, I'm very interested in the I think that there's lots of opportunities for developing geotourism packages, and I'd encourage you to investigate those things in future. Very happy to take questions. Thank you.
Okay, terima kasih Prof. Nur. Thank you for the thought-provoking talk, especially when you bring Lombok to your presentation. It's really relevant and connected to us, Indonesian, especially Lombok people. And also for bringing the example of what Ibu Melis have done so far, then it brings us the real example to what we can do later on. Okay, before we move to question and answer session, saya ingatkan kepada peserta sekalian bahwa Anda juga bisa menuju ke main gate kita di thumbnail launch. Anda bisa klik di sana, kemudian juga bisa ikut quiz. We offer some interesting prizes and also vouchers. Okay, well, Prof. Nul, now we are moving to question and answer session. As we haven't got any question from the chat box. Okay, talking about the package and challenges. What is the biggest challenge for if you want to create the geotourism package, Prof. Nul?
Oh, thank you. Well, the big thing in tourism always is to find something that people find interesting and attractive, something that is unique and different. And luckily, you have that. You've got a by talking about Mount Rinjani, by talking about its connection to Lombok, by talking about the lost city, those are things which are unique and different about Lombok compared to other parts of Indonesia. So that's the hardest part. All you've got to do now is convert that into a tourism package. And that's not hard. I think the thing that's missing is some training. Well, first of all, agreement amongst the stakeholders that one of the important themes to present to people is about geotourism, and here's how we're going to do it. Second thing then is to do the training, to encourage local people to learn languages, to encourage local people to know more about the science of volcanoes and things. And then perhaps finally, you'll need to make a little bit of investment. You need a bit of money to take what is interesting but not well developed for tourists and make that into a more professional tourism package. All those things are quite achievable. And I think, interestingly, COVID, the problems we're experiencing now in terms of this pandemic, gives you the opportunity to turn your attention to developing new ideas. And that's what I'd be encouraging you to do now. And that's why this video or this online meeting is so well timed. So I think it's all there.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Noor. And we have got one question here from Pak Muhammad Kadran Hafifi. He talks about maybe government support here. And he said that in some places near the lake of Rinjani Mountain, we have some places as the evidence of Samalas, but it seems that government doesn't really concern about this thing. So what can you suggest about this thing and how to synchronize between the government and local people effort to create this one thing, something more valuable?
Sure. So tourism works through cooperation between the residents, the government, the tourism industry, and so on. Getting that cooperation means you have to have some agreement. One of the issues about Mount Rinjani is that it is a national park, and so there are some restrictions on what can be done in a national park. You don't want to ruin the resource. I think that, but I think the key thing is so that those that evidence that you're talking about of the geotourism history of Mount Rinjani, I think, is interesting. I wonder how essential it is. So there will always be people who are able to walk and climb Mount Rinjani. I'm an old man now, so for me, it's probably a little bit harder to get to the top of Mount Rinjani. So, so you can have attractions or sites on the mountain itself, but for a larger number of people, maybe you don't want those things in the national park. You want them on the boundaries or the outside of the national park, with some less intrusive or less, maybe with some simple interpretation material around the sites within the park. So I think it's a matter of balance between who you're targeting. Are you targeting walkers, or are you targeting old people like me? And then are you, how much do you want to disturb the national park versus how much do you want to protect it? I would be inclined to do less in the park and more outside if you can.
Yeah, so creating package is not individual effort, but it's more about collective effort. Okay, well, Prof. Scott, Prof. Noor, for the next question is about the tourist emotions, the thing that you have mentioned in your presentation, in which we have to create emotion in deciding geotourism package. So, Bang Farhan Al-Farizi asked, is there any theory or guideline for us to create the emotion to make a package?
Oh, well, thank you. I love that question. That's a great question. That's a very interesting thing for me as an academic, but also as a tourism person. I think, firstly, that tourism is about creating interesting memories and ideas. So it's about and the theory, the science of emotion has developed quite a lot in recent years. So that, yes, there is quite a lot of theory and academic knowledge about how emotions are created. The two main things to think about if you want to make a person excited or interested is firstly to create novelty and surprise. So if you see something once, you might be excited. If you see it 10 times, it won't be as exciting. So the first time, that's the idea of novelty. So the more you can make something unusual, unique, and unexpected, the better you will, that will create arousal or excitement. The second thing for emotion, and I don't, I can provide lots of material about this if you want to read more about it. But the second thing is understanding what people want. You can't create a lot of excitement if the person isn't interested in the first place. So that's why I try and look for a hook or something that will attract people and make them interested in the tourism package. And that's why I'm thinking about lost cities or volcanoes, which are both interesting, novel, but also something that people can engage with. And if now here I'm going to get into trouble, because if I think about geotourism can be about the science. So it's more about education rather than excitement. I think you need to marry the educational side of geotourism with the emotion and the experience. And that actually will lead to better learning. So there's quite a lot of the basic idea is that my emotional reaction is different to yours, and there's a lot of theory that goes into that why, but I'd be very happy to provide lots of references if you'd like it.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Nur. Very interesting. So peserta sekalian, bahwasanya untuk membuat emosi itu dibutuhkan hal-hal berikut, diantaranya adalah novelty, kebaruan, kemudian suatu hal yang sangat membuat kita kaget, surprise, menarik, dan juga tentunya untuk mengawinkan antar bidang ya, dari education, geotourism, juga field of human field. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Prof. Nur, this is still related to the previous one. It's about touching tourist feeling. Have you got any strategies on how to touch tourist feeling? Right.
These are very good questions. You've got a very intelligent and interested audience. So congratulations. Feelings. You see, so one idea is to co-create. Instead of just presenting something to people, showing them something, get people involved, get them actually doing things. The classic example might be a cooking class. So if you can give people some interesting food, and that's nice, but you can also build an experience by getting the people to help collect the ingredients, go to the marketplace, learn about how people are cooking, are buying food, get them to cook, and then give them the meal. That's much more involving or engaging. So that's one of the key ideas. How would you do that in geotourism? It may be that you ask people to see if they could identify different geotourism features themselves, or get them to somehow. Oh, one interesting thing I found when I was in Lombok, I was learning about the older civilization, and I found a little bowl, a little bit of pottery, which was lying on the ground underneath all that pyroclastic flow. And so for me, that was not just seeing something, but actually learning about it by touching things. Very interesting. So the more you can do that, that's one of the interesting techniques.
Yeah. Thank you, Prof. That's very inspiring idea. So we don't only need to offer just for the tourists to see, but also invite them to engage by touching and doing something. Ya, peserta sekalian, jadi untuk menyentuh emosi para turis, kita juga dibutuhkan untuk menawarkan satu paket geotourism yang tidak hanya memuaskan mata, tapi juga tentang apa yang bisa kita kerjakan bersama. Well, Prof. Nul, we go next. We are talking about maybe a story. It's about myth or superstition. How to include this kind of myth of superstition into our package with the relation to the scientific thing. Is this good story to tell, or what do you think about it?
Okay. Well, I think there's two things here. One is, I think you need to be authentic. I don't think you make things up just to entertain tourists. That's why you should be finding interesting stories that are true, that are real, and there are lots of them. There are lots of stories that would be true, or if you don't know if they're true, you can say, look, we don't know what happened in this eruption, but here's an example of how it may have happened. So you can build lots of stories. The stories, the best stories are not just facts. They are stories which have a theme to them, a romance. Think about the Titanic and the story of a young woman and a young man meeting, singing songs, being on the bow of the Titanic, falling in love. Those are the stories that people would like because they have some relevance to them. I came across a great one in near Ambon in Indonesia. There's a well, a well for water, but it's if you put some money in the well, you will learn, you will marry the person you're next to. Okay, now that's an interesting story, because it's interesting. You know, you can imagine taking your boyfriend there, perhaps, or your girlfriend, and putting money in, and then looking at them and seeing what their reaction is. Stories should be personal. They should be have a theme, and they should have some sort of emotion attached to them. And if you can do that, it actually makes that information more memorable. That's another thing. Our brains are organized to remember stories.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Nul. We back to the question from Ibu Lisa Ferry. This is very nice question. It's related to the virtual environment of the geotourism package. We feel that it's never the same by visiting the offsite of the attraction and watching it through the virtual thing. So what can you say about this?
Could you just repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is from Ibu Lisa about virtual environment will never be replacing the sense of having ourselves in the site, in the actual site. So maybe what Prof. Nur can say about bringing the virtual environment real.
Oh, this is if this is Ibu Lita, perhaps I know her. She's developed a wonderful whale shark package in Sumbawa. But anyway, I think she probably knows the answer to this story anyway, but it's to this question anyway, but it's good of her to ask it. Interestingly, you think about two people. One is a mother and one is a child, and they both go to the theme park. They have different aims or objectives. The child wants to have a lot of excitement. The mother wants the child to be happy. So although you have two people going to the same attraction, they have different outcomes. The mother might be satisfied and the child might be delighted. So firstly, your involvement with a site, if you're just looking at it, you're going to be less excited than if you're deeply involved in it. Secondly, if you want to get someone interested and engaged with it, then that's where you need to use the techniques of co-creation, narrative storytelling, and there are other techniques you can use, especially getting people to touch and feel things so that their sensations are being engaged. Taste, smell, all sorts of hearing. If you can get all of those senses involved, then you'll probably get more interesting and engaged people.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Noor. And it seems that we are about to come to an end of this session. Bapak Ibu sekalian, sangat menarik sekali diskusinya. Namun karena keterbatasan waktu, akhirnya kita sampai pada ujung sesi webinar kali ini. But before we close our webinar, please, Prof. Noor, could you please give us your closing statement to motivate us?
Oh, to motivate you? Well, yeah. I want to come. I want to come and see and learn about the lost civilization of Lombok, and I want to come and learn more about the tremendous events that happened in Lombok 800 years ago. So if you can develop those things, then I will be there as soon as I can. And I hope you can do that.
Yeah, hopefully we can do that. And we are get ready to face the new normal. And Indonesia basically ready to face the new normal, of course, with some protocol cleanliness, health, and also safety. Baik peserta sekalian, demikian tadi adalah closing statement dari Prof. Noor. Semoga apa yang kita perbincangkan hari ini membawa inspirasi untuk membuat karya-karya lebih menarik, karya inspiratif yang tentunya akan bermanfaat untuk kita semua, untuk alam dan juga generasi selanjutnya. Before I close the session, I would like to remind you bahwa peserta sekalian, you can visit di exhibition. Nanti Bapak Ibu sekalian akan menemukan banyak paket tour dan juga traditional product di sana. You can ask directly to the agent and also discuss for more topics there. And thank you for Prof. Noor for the inspiring talk and discussion. And I also for the all attendees for coming to this event and actively participating to the discussion. And that's all for this session. I am Husnul Fatimah. I say thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Experience the journey and the beauty of the archipelago universe. Enjoy the wonderful enchantment of Indonesia. Keep on sharing and draw up a set of stories until we realize that this trip is a wonder. Experience further the enchantment of Indonesia.
Our dear beloved Indonesia, it's time to stop and take a break, to distance ourselves for a while and hope for a better future. We are longing to hear the sounds of the waves and to see the beauty that awaits around every corner of this land. Our beautiful motherland, the time will come when the sky will again shine bright and we'll come back stronger.
In life, there are moments where we feel stuck and have no idea what to do next. Don't be scared. That's normal. All we have to do is search. Sometimes, inspiration comes unexpectedly. Even from special places. Don't just enjoy the inspiration. Live it! When inspiration comes, don't hold it back. Let it flow. But don't forget to take notes, so it doesn't slip by. Enjoy it for a while. Not too much, just enough. Because in the end, inspirations exist to be shared.
Here I am! Labuan Bajo!
Look at this view! Oh, it's so beautiful. The Komodo, the last real dragon on Earth. Hey, turtle!
Experience the journey and the beauty of the archipelago universe. Enjoy the wonderful enchantment of Indonesia. Keep on sharing and draw up a set of stories until we realize that this trip is a wonder. Experience further the enchantment of Indonesia.
Welcome to Samota, a rich land of natural beauty, healthy coral reefs, beautiful forest reserves, stunning landscapes, and encounters with some of the largest animals on the planet. Samota is a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve in the West Nusa Tenggara region of Indonesia, consisting of three main areas, Saleh Bay, Moyo Island, and Tambora Volcano. It is easily accessible from a number of hubs throughout Indonesia. Travelers can fly from Jakarta, Bali, Makassar, and Surabaya to Lombok. From Lombok, it's a short flight to the regional airport at Sumbawa Besar. From the airport, travel across the beautiful landscape of Sumbawa to the scenic coastal village of Labuan Jambu, the main center of whale shark tourism in the Samota region. Labuan Jambu is a picturesque fishing village that is the perfect base to explore highlights of the area. The local people are friendly and welcoming, and the village is surrounded by low hills and stunning rice fields. The biggest attraction is the opportunity to encounter the largest fish in the sea, the whale shark. Whale sharks are attracted by the activities of the fishermen on their traditional boats called bagans. The fishermen believe that the whale sharks bring them luck and are happy to accept their presence. In recent times, the Labuan Jambu people have fully embraced whale shark tourism as an activity involving the entire community. The community has created helpful educational briefings and a code of conduct to make this activity safe for both visitors as well as the whale sharks. And the people of Labuan Jambu are proud to welcome all visitors. In order to provide a healthy and safe environment, they are adapting to the current situation to ensure new normal protocols are in place throughout the region. The people of the Samota region are looking forward to welcome you soon.
about sunrise? What about rain? What about all the things that you said we were to gain? What about killing fields? Is there a time? What about all the things that you said were yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the blood we've shed before? Did you ever stop to notice this crying heart, the sweeping shores?
All the peace that you placed your only son. What about flowering fields? Is there a time? What about all the dreams that you said was yours and mine?
Did you ever stop to notice all the children dead from war? Did you ever stop to notice this crying heart, this sweeping shores? Beyond the stars, no, I don't know where we are. Although I know we're drifted far. What about sunrise? What about rain? What about all the things that you said we were to gain? What about killing fields? Is there a time? What about all the things that you said were yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the blood we've shed before? Did you ever stop to notice this crying heart, the sweeping shores?
What about all the peace that you played your only son? What about flowering fields? Is there a time? What about all the dreams that you said was yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the children dead from war? Did you ever stop to notice this crying heart, this weeping shores? I used to dream, I used to glance beyond the stars. But no, I don't know where we are. Although I know we drifted far.
Bumi kembali subur ke diriku, paponan tumbuh kering bumi, satu hewan langkung makne. Pitutur maring leluhur bumi safat. Allah kinanjar dining Allah becik, kinanjar dining becik, sadulur sekadi pekaryane urip, jika karmane urip pamit.